Everyone, it's Christina. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you a different type of video. I am going to be talking about my IUD experience, and if you don't know what an IUD is, it is like a 10-year birth control. It's a long-term form of birth control. I'm going to be talking about the insertion, why I chose it, mostly because, for one, not a lot of people talk about this on YouTube, not actual like the insertion procedure, because I tried to look it up before I got it done. And then also I wanted to talk about it because all last year I did all these pregnancy updates, and then I did my labor and delivery story, and I also talked about getting my tubes tied. I was supposed to get that done. I ended up not, and I'm going to be talking about that as well in this video. So if you guys are interested in this video, then make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe for more videos. So if you don't know what an IUD is, I briefly explained it in the beginning. Pretty much it's this T-shaped thing that gets inserted inside of your uterus, and there's two different kinds. There is a 5-year one, and then there's also a 10-year IUD, which is what I have. It's called the Paragard. The 5-year one is called the Mirena, and the Mirena actually has hormones, whereas the Paragard, there's no hormones. But how it works is it has copper on it, and the copper is actually what kills the sperm once it's inside of you. So that is how you don't get pregnant. So if you guys are wondering how to even get this, because you can't get it at a regular pharmacy like CVS, you do have to let your doctor know ahead of time that this is something that you're interested in. They will then have you fill out paperwork to see if your insurance covers it, which then will get which will then get sent to Paragard, and Paragard will let you know if your insurance covers it. So they did call me. My insurance covered it 100%, which was very surprising because I don't have the best insurance. I feel like I do have to pay for a lot out of pocket most of the time, but it did cover 100%. And they asked me if I wanted to go through with it, and I said yes. And since I said yes, they said, all right, well, it will take about a week or two to get it, because what's going to happen is that it's going to get sent to a pharmacy, but it's not your regular pharmacy. It's a pharmacy that's actually going to deliver it to my doctor's office. Once my doctor's office had it, they did call me and set up an appointment for insertion, and it didn't take that long. For insertion, how it works, I'm just gonna get to the point and then I'll tell you guys my story. How it works is you go into the regular room. It's kind of like your annual in a way, because they do put that clamp inside of you, the metal one, and then they do have to open up your cervix, of course, to like get the thing inside of you. So it's supposed to be set, I believe, high into your uterus, not into your cervix. So they have to open up your cervix with this little clamp, and that didn't hurt. I didn't feel it. She was walking me through the whole thing. I just mostly felt the cramping, and out of a 1 out of 10, it was like a 5, the cramping. Once they open up your cervix, they then put this yellow tube inside of you to kind of measure how big or how long your uterus is. So once they measure to see how big your uterus is, they then use that yellow tube to measure the actual IUD, because it comes out pretty long, and then the doctors, I guess, have to cut it to fit your uterus. So that is what they did. They then inserted the IUD, and then they cut the strings off, and that was it. They then took everything out, of course. But the whole procedure, it shouldn't have took as long as it did for me. Now, as far as my experience, like, I didn't think it was that bad, the actual IUD experience, but my doctor's office just made it worse. Like, for one, they put me in the very last room, this different type of room, which isn't like any other room in their office, which was kind of like a traumatic experience for me in a way. Like, I just didn't like the vibe that I got from it. I had the baby with me too, and they took forever to even... The doctor took forever to come into the room. Like, I want to say, like, it took her 40 minutes to come inside the room. And I had to sign more papers when I got it done, and she kind of didn't seem like she knew what she was doing. Like, everything was kind of everywhere. Like, she was like, oh, well, what's this? And she couldn't find the scissors during the whole thing. So here I am, wide open on the table, and she can't find the scissors and has to call someone in to get them out of a drawer. And I just didn't like that out of it. But I didn't think it was that bad. I just feel like she could have did it a lot faster. She was like, oh yeah, I've done these before. It was actually the person that delivered Nathan. She said that she had did them before, but I don't know, it just seemed like she didn't do many of them. Afterwards, I did experience some cramping that day, and eventually I did start to bleed a little bit. The bleeding got heavier maybe 2 days later, and then it was like full on my period. I usually don't get really heavy periods, but with the IUD I did, which was expected because I believe that is one of the side effects, abnormal bleeding. But it wasn't too bad. I did experience a lot of cramping, and it wasn't like normal cramping. It was just a different feeling. I did have my period for about a week, and then that was that. But after my period was over, everything is fine. Why I chose the Paragard. So for one, I was supposed to get my tubes tied, which I talked about before. Me and Bernard had decided, like, since we already had 2 kids before Nathan, that was that. We already had a boy and a girl, and then we had Nathan, so now we have 3. We definitely do not want any other children, so we were like, why not just go ahead and get my tubes tied? Well, my doctor's office, like, when I was pregnant, I signed the papers saying that pretty much if I were to have a C-section, then they would just do the procedure right then and there while they had me open. So I signed the paper for that. But if I would have a vaginal birth, then I would have to wait 4 weeks after I had Nathan and then schedule an appointment, and then they would do it, because they just made all types of excuses as to why they couldn't do it right after I gave birth. They said, well, if I have it on a weekend, then there's no doctor to really do it and schedule it. So to me, it was more of an inconvenience for them. And then they just said, well, your uterus is much smaller at 4 weeks after you give birth, so it would be better. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So when I called after I gave birth, they said, oh, well, just talk to the doctor about it at your 6-week checkup, and then go from there. They'll schedule your appointment. I'm like, 6 weeks, oh my god. Like, I just wanted to go back to having a regular life afterwards. But no, I scheduled my 6-week checkup, but then I had to reschedule. When I rescheduled, it happened to be with a midwife. And the midwife, when I talked to her, she was like, oh, you have to talk to a doctor about it. I'm like, I have already talked to one of the doctors about it, because my practice, or their practice, has midwives and doctors, and the midwives weren't allowed to do that. But I'm like, I already talked to them. So they wanted me to schedule an appointment with a doctor just for them to be able to schedule the appointment for it, and then it would take 8 weeks afterwards. So it was just like, all right, well, what else can I do instead of this, because this is taking way too long. So we decided on doing the 10-year IUD, and I like the fact that there was no hormones. Do you want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. You see mommy? You see mommy? You see mommy? So I decided to do the IUD because I like the fact that there was no hormones. That's also another reason why I wanted to get my tubes tied. I didn't want anything to do with hormones anymore, because I was on birth control. I was on the pill for like 7 years, and I just didn't like the way that it made me feel. Once I was pregnant with Nathan, I realized how much more energy I had for the most part. I did have my days where I didn't feel okay, but I felt like I had a lot more energy, and I think it had to do with just not being on the pill. And after I had the baby, I still had a lot more energy, and I think it's, again, because I wasn't on the pill anymore, and I just felt like the pill, I don't know, it definitely changed me. And also, due to the fact that the pill has hormones in it, it does affect my synthroid levels. My synthroid levels, or my TSH levels, have to be increased, and I was born without a thyroid, so that's what I'm talking about if you guys don't know. Because I don't have a thyroid, I had to take medication, and with the hormones of the birth control, I couldn't take the two together, and like I said, my levels had to be increased because of it. That is why I decided to just do the IUD, no hormones, it's long term, I don't have to worry about any type of pill. So I'm very happy with my decision. So far, so good. I do know that there are side effects when it comes to the IUD. Like, it could come out, it could get embedded into your uterus, but there's side effects with everything, and I figured it's still safer than getting your actual tube side, because that is kind of like a serious procedure. So I hope I explained everything in this video. I hope if you guys were interested in getting the IUD, if it helped you, I will update you if anything happens. I will let you guys know, and I'll be sure to link it in the description bar or leave comments in the comment section. If you have gotten an IUD before, or if you have any questions to ask, you can definitely leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, I just hope this video helps anyone that was interested in getting it. I really didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't think the pain that was that bad. I think the cramps hurt more afterwards than the actual procedure. Yeah, that is all that I have for you guys. If you guys like these type of videos, then make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe for more videos.